Yeah, a very good day to you, Nombu. As you can see, I'm just going to step out of the shot. As you can see, some of the members of the DEMAWUSA are singing and, of course, picketing at the Gandhi Square as a form of strike. And they are saying that they are not going to stop doing this. These are the scenes that you will continue seeing at Gandhi Square until those demands are met. And, of course, we spoke to the spokesperson, or rather, Deputy General Secretary Dion Makura earlier on, and he said that they are willing to actually take that percentage down, the 18% increase that you mentioned in that intro. They are saying that they are willing to actually take it down as long as Metrobus officials or management are willing to actually come to the table and perhaps negotiate to a lesser percentage. But I did ask him, of course, earlier on, saying that it looks like, according to SAMU, these are actually copy and paste demands by SAMU. SAMU saying that this particular union, DEMAWUSA, actually are not actually being fair when it comes to their demands, and they are saying that it looks like they're actually engaging or not engaging in good faith. And I'm just going to also mention some of the demands that they've actually put on the table since last week. They are saying that they want COVID-19 allowance between level 5 as well as level 2, and they are saying that those who worked between those levels, they should get 15,000 rand each, but those who have not worked or did not work rather between those levels should also get about 8,000 rand each. And they also demand long service bonus, among them also adjustment of all salaries, cell phone allowance, that's what they are also demanding, about 300 rand there. And they are also demanding 150 rand transport allowance per day for employees who do not have bus staff or staff bus, as they mentioned here. And they also want a 14th check. According to DEMAWUSA, these are all reasonable demands they are actually making. I'm actually going to bring one of the drivers here who has been picketing as well. Mandla, you told me earlier on that you have been driving these buses for over 20 years. Today you are here, you are picketing. Just talk to us about some of the challenges that you experience in your organization.
Thanks to get this opportunity. I'm Mandan Tapo. I've been with Metrobus for almost 20 years. But before, we used to operate with more than 300 buses, but now it's almost, it's less than 100. It shows that our job is going down, and no one tells us about the situation. I think the city of Johannesburg gave our management of Metrobus more than 45 million to put our job the way it was before. But now, to my surprise, at least we've got drivers who are earning 15,000 in this time of the century. So what we need as a DEMAWUSA, we need those drivers must come at least where we are now. That's what we need. I'm not going to go further, because our demand is still the same.
Help us to put it in simple terms as a worker. So you want 18% increase on top of the 15,000 that you just mentioned. How much in total do you really need? Or even after deduction?
No,
let's just put in clear terms here.
No, it's not about 18%. We will negotiate that. At least there's a numbers of drivers that must come where we are. Then that 18% we'll negotiate with our management.
Thanks so much for your time. And let's just try to see if we can bring some of the federations here. We know that SAF2 is also part of this. We are trying to see if we can get them to speak to us. Here she is, Ferron. Thanks so much for running to us. Talk to us about this support. It's not a lot of people, yes, and you are here to show solidarity. Why?
Okay, so I'm from the South African Federation of trade unions. I'm the Working Class Campaigns Coordinator, and we invited communities and students, youth, other affiliates to join us here today. We're of course concerned about COVID protocols, so we insisted that not too many people came so that we could ensure social distancing. We are outside, so that is safe, but we tried to limit the number of people that were going to be coming. But we have got representatives here from Thorn, from DEMAWUSA, from the Orange Farm Abuhlali, WITS Coalition for Free Education. So we've got community members, we've got youth, we've got other affiliates to come and support the DEMAWUSA strike today.
And you're indeed here to support them, but then according to Metrobus, they are saying that they are not going to be able to meet all those demands that have been put on that paper by DEMAWUSA, and they are saying that they are unreasonable.
Sure, management will always say that workers' demands are unreasonable until the day that they're met. This is an issue of who has the power, who is in control of the buses. Ultimately, the drivers, the Metrobus workers' drivers, are the ones who are delivering the service, who are the ones who are putting their lives on the line, making sure that they're essential workers, making sure that people get to where they need to go, communities and the working class can get to where they need to go. And so it's the bus drivers that need to be taken seriously, and the first point of contention is to get to the negotiation table. The point is, workers are willing to negotiate, but the management of Metrobus won't even recognize DEMAWUSA and negotiate with them. So the first point is that they need to negotiate. We need to get to the negotiation table, and then we can discuss what are reasonable demands at that point.
But while you need to negotiate, you also take into consideration the fact that there is that impact on the ground. Terminals are empty. People are actually suffering. They are not they are not able to get to their workplaces due to this particular strike. Others saying that they do not have money to take taxis. They bought that monthly ticket. It's only the 10th day of May, meaning they are going to lose. What do you have to say about that?
First and foremost, I'd like to say that the group responsible for this strike are the bosses, are the management. Management is responsible for the fact that workers are not coming to work today and are not driving the buses because they're not willing to negotiate and meet their very reasonable demands. Second, the DEMAWUSA workers are very concerned about public safety. They're concerned that we need safe, reliable, affordable transport. You'll see many of the demands are maintain our buses. We want, because they're saying that the fleets have diminished. The fleets are not well maintained, that workers are working under unsafe conditions. If you have a driver that is not being paid well, that is not rested well, that is not safe for communities. And communities, we've advertised this picket here today, and we've seen messages of solidarity from Metrobus commuters who are saying, we see that that drivers are tired, we see that the buses aren't on time, are not reliable, are not safe, and we support them.
Thanks so much for your time. And we're just going to dip into listen into what the Workers and Socialist Party leaders have to say. They are also here to show solidarity. Let's just listen in.
Demonstration to address the question of wage increases, and in the context of a situation where across the industries and no less in the public service there is an imposition of wage freezes. We think that this struggle is very important because it represents the revolt, it represents the rebellion of an organized working class against the brutal austerity that this government, at the behest of the capitalist class, want to impose on the rest of the working class. It is therefore, comrades, important to recognize that in undertaking this strike, the Metrobus workers are not just fighting for themselves. We are fighting for the rest of working class, for the rest of workers in the public service, the rest of workers in all the industries and across the economy, but also the working class at large, because a Metrobus does not belong to those hacks of the ANC who are carrying out the brutal austerity and anti-working class cuts and wage freezes. You are of course, providing a service to the working class and to the poor masses of this city who deserve a safe, reliable and affordable public transport system. Now, this government, this Metro government in particular, both under the ANC, but also it was the case under DA, is running down a Metro bus service. How do we have an affordable, how do we have a safe and a quality public transport system when buses are sitting at depots without repairs, when number of number of workers that are still employed as drivers are unable to work normal hours because of vacancies in the system. Now we are saying, comrades, you are just not only fighting for yourself, you are fighting for the rest of us, and therefore, for that very reason, you deserve a support from each and every section of the working class. That is the reason that as workers and socialist party, we have called and are continuing to campaign that SAFTU must mobilize and bring its full might in this patrol struggle. You cannot fight alone, you cannot win alone. You need a support of the whole of SAFTU. The few unions that are here are an important step in that direction, but they are not enough. We need the heavy battalions of SAFTU to come and join this patrol strike. But it's not just only SAFTU alone. We want the youth. We have mobilized young people from West University in socialist youth movement. They are here, but we want them to bring masses of young people in that university, but also in other universities, colleges and schools to be with you in this patrol strike. Because the struggle for a quality public service, a quality public transport service is a struggle for young people who day in, day out have to be traveling to and from schools, day in, day out have to be traveling to and from campuses. But also, comrades, this is a struggle of communities who need a quality and affordable public transport system than the poor people. Rich people in Sandton, in Rosebank, have their cars, a fancy cars as that. It is us who need these buses, but also for the drivers to be able to render a service. They need our support. They need decent wages. And that is the reason that we are very unapologetic in supporting a demand for a decent wage. We believe that the demand for an 18% increase is very modest. If you consider what the bosses, what the managers of Metrobus are earning, what the bosses and the managers of City Johannesburg are earning, but also all other politicians that are there in government, but also, the managers in capitalist enterprises and all of that. You deserve more, comrades. These demands are very modest, they are very legitimate, and therefore, we must do everything in our power to ensure that they win, and this struggle is settled on the basis of victory of workers, a victory for decent wages, a victory for a safe and healthy working conditions, a victory for a decent work. Thank you very much.
That's one of the workers and socialist party representatives saying that they are actually calling on students to come and support us, the Metrobus workers here who have been striking throughout the morning since 10 a.m. Today, and calling for that 18% increase, and also calling for COVID-19 allowances, just among others. But just in an hour or so from now, we understand that the South African Federation of Trade Unions will be hosting a media briefing alongside DEMAWUSA, whose members are on this strike today, and they will be doing that media briefing around 1 o'clock alongside SAFTU Zwelinzima Vavi. We will be covering those developments throughout the day as we are closely watching this strike here at Gandhi Square.
Catch up with you. Thanks very much, Maageketla, for that.